What's up guys, it's Sully, and today I'm bringing you a full achievement walkthrough for Beyond Shadowgate. And this is the recently released sequel to an old point-and-click game called Shadowgate that originally was released on PC, or computer, in the 80s. I discovered it in the late 80s when I was 12 or 13 years old on the Nintendo Entertainment System. And the company that developed this game originally also developed a couple of other games similar in style. Deja Vu and Uninvited, they were also on Nintendo. They now, all these 30 plus years later, have released what is essentially a sequel to Shadowgate. Now if you want to play these original games, they are available on Xbox in the form of the 8-bit adventure series. It's all three games bundled into one. I believe this game is going to come to consoles, that's why I'm doing this achievement guide. They released a reimagining of Shadowgate several years ago on PC and on consoles, and it's just called Shadowgate. Great game, check it out if you feel so inclined. But yeah, we're going to talk about and walk through the entirety of Beyond Shadowgate in this video. It is mid-January 2025, and again, I'd like to think that this game will come to console eventually, but for now it's only available on PC. There are 40 achievements. I believe the list will be the same on console when it is released on console, when and if. And real quick, if you want to just skip ahead to the guide and get through this boring introduction, look for timestamps in the description. Otherwise, I'm going to lay out several things here before we get into the meat and bones of the guide. So yeah, 40 achievements. The bulk of them are progression related. There are several for dying in specific ways. There are 4 different endings, and there's actually a fork in the game that you reach about halfway through and puts you on one of 2 different paths, and 2 of the achievements are tied to those 2 different paths. So you can't get all 4 of the endings in one run. You'll have to do 2 runs through the game. 2 of the endings can be required on either fork. So I'm going to guide you through everything that's required to get all of the achievements, of course, and I'll explain along the way what you're going to need to do in order to get the 2 most complicated achievements. One is for revealing the entire map. I'll explain that more in detail as we play. One is for using a spell and talking to every dead human in the game. And that achievement seems to be a bit buggy on the PC version here. I've unlocked it twice, and both times I've had to revisit the dead humans that I had used the spell on previously, and the game really didn't trigger the achievement until I kind of backtracked and went through the targets numerous times. So we'll see if that is the case on this playthrough again. There is a 2-hour speedrun achievement. Won't be a problem on your second playthrough once you know what you're doing. You might even get it on your first playthrough. It's not 2 hours of in-game time, it's 2 hours of calculated game time, which kind of takes into account a lot of different dialogue and stuff like that that really isn't factored into your time. So I did a run through the game yesterday, a full run. It took me about an hour and a half, and it showed me about 45 minutes of in-game time. So it's really lenient for that 2-hour speed run. What else do I want to talk about here in the introduction? I think that's it. We'll go ahead and get started. This is a fresh Steam account, so you will see achievements unlock as we go. We're going to get all but 3 of the achievements on this run, and then I will edit in and piece together what you'll need to do on your second run to get the remaining 3 achievements. Something I do want to point out is that everything you need to know to figure out the puzzles, which this game is essentially a series of puzzles to figure out, can be figured out in-game by exploring and reading books and scrolls and looking around and, you know, thoroughly exhausting your environment. The answers are all there. I'm not going to show you how I know the answers. I'm not going to explain the answers to most of the puzzles. I'm just going to beeline it through the game and show you what to do to get through the game, reach the ending, and unlock all the achievements along the way. If you have any questions about maybe how did I figure out to do this here or whatnot, feel free to leave a comment below and I'll try to reply with maybe where the answer is in the game, just so you could maybe find it for yourself. With all that said, let's get started. So before you actually get into a new game, something else I'll mention really quickly is in the settings there's an option for a old school game cursor. I just prefer the actual computer cursor. There are two options here that lead to achievements. Viewing the credits will unlock an achievement, and viewing the backers, which I believe are Patreon backers that donated money to the developers to get this game created. So go ahead and look at those two things and then click on a new file, and we'll go ahead and get started. Again, I'm going to skip through everything and I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. What may work best for you is watching what I do in a room, pausing the video, doing it yourself, maybe watching what I do in a few rooms and then pausing it and doing that all yourself. But what I would honestly recommend is that you do your first playthrough blind. Play through this game. You have to play through it twice anyway. Take your time, explore, figure things out. It really is gratifying when you piece together different bits of information to solve puzzles to progress. Or if you don't feel like doing that, just use my guide and blast through it. Something else I do want to mention, I apologize before we start, is the save system. It's really easy to die in this game, and anytime you die, there are auto-saves constantly, so you just get backed up essentially one screen or one room and can continue right from there without any problems. But in order to turn the game off and come back later, you need to use the actual save command to create a save in your save file, and now when you turn off the game and turn it back on, you can pick up from that point. So again, this is a point-and-click adventure. You're going to use all these various commands throughout the world, on different items, and even on yourself in order to move through the game and solve puzzles. First thing you want to do when you start is use this table. That'll slide it over. Then you want to use your flint 3 or 4 times on the stack of hay. That's going to create a fire. This is a brief scene that's going to occur where the jailer is going to come through the door, trip over the table that we moved, and drop his keys. I'm going to go ahead and take the keys. Then I'm going to move out of the cell. In this room, you must close the door behind you, and that can be done. Movement and interaction with directionals areas and whatnot can be done either in your screen. For example, if I click move here, it'll move me forward, but that's also indicated on my little mini-map. If I moved here, it would move me forward, and if I moved here, it would move me backwards. I need to close the door behind me to prevent the jailer from getting me. So he's stuck in my room. After doing that, the wisp comes in and joins me. That unlocks an achievement. Hey, listen. I can click on the wisp for hints if I'm looking for some help in what I need to do to solve the puzzles and move and progress. I'll go ahead and move from the desolate hall into the next room. I do want to mention the map real quick. And on the computer, if I hold the spacebar, it brings the map of the current area over to me, and you can see I've been in 17% of the rooms in the castle dungeon. We ultimately need to get 100% map progress, and I'm going to find a physical map that I can open from over here on my interaction screen. We'll get that sooner than later, and I'll explain it a little further. What I want to do in this room is use the jailer keys on this left door, open the door, and move into that jail cell. And what's going to happen here is you see a dead human. Now, there's an achievement for using a spell that we won't learn until much later on every possible dead human. This is one of them, so we will eventually backtrack to this room and use that spell on this human. For now, I just want to take this leather strap. That's going to trigger a timed event. You see the flashing red border. I have a limited amount of time to make a correct action before I am killed. So that correct action is to close the door. The Minotaur comes back, sees the door is closed, and then leaves. I can go ahead and open the door, move out into the hallway. Again, I can click on the screen to move, or I could click on my mini-map to move. And I want to move up to cell block 2, use the jailer keys on the right door, open that door, and move into it. Same thing, timed event. I need to close the door so the Minotaur doesn't kill me. Then I want to speak to this prisoner. He will offer me a piece of rope. I'll take his piece of rope. Then I'm going to use the piece of rope in my inventory on the leather strap to create a sling. Then I'll open the door and move out into the hallway, move up into the third cell block, use the jailer keys on the left door, open that door and move into that cell. Timed event again, so I'll close the door to not get killed by the Minotaur, and speak to this prisoner. He's going to give me a rock. I'll take the rock, use or stone technically, and I'll use that stone on the sling. Now I have a loaded sling, so I can open this door, move into the hallway, move forward into the sentry post. The Minotaur wakes up and comes at me, and I will use the sling on him to knock him out. Now I need to use the jailer keys on the right door and the forward door. I could move left to a dead end. I'm not going to because we have to come back that way later, and I'll pick up that room on my map when we backtrack into this area. I'm going to open both doors and move into the forward door. I'm going to take the tibia bone, and then I'm going to speak to this prisoner. He is actually the king. He has been imprisoned, and part of the plot of the game is that the bad guys have imprisoned him, lied to his brother. We need to get out of here, find his brother, and convince him of what has been done to the king. So let's move back into the room on the right, use the tibia bone on the grating on the floor. The king, of course, had given me his emblem that's going to help me prove what's going on. I'm going to move down into the cavern river. And what I want to do from here is move into the water. I'm going to die, and that's going to trigger a death achievement for drowning in the water. Here we see the death animation, and like I had explained, it's going to move me back one room. I can again move down into the cavern river. So I can't get across to the right, so my only option is to move up and to the left, and we'll just move straight ahead again. Here we have some sort of creature. If I try to take one of his coins, we get a timed event. We're going to backtrack 2 rooms, and then I'm going to use my farthing on the river. And this creature now jumps in the river to try to get the farthing. And now that'll allow me to walk over him into this other area. And from here, I can move up the rope and into the village area, and that unlocks an achievement for progression to escape the dungeon. So now we are in the, let me pull up my map, we are in the village. I'm going to take this silver coin and move to the right. Here we reach the village square. I need to go first into the center door, open it first, and that's the inn, and move into the inn. There's going to be a brief scene with some characters here. Again, if you care to follow the plot, you can pay attention to this. I need to use the silver coin on the bartender, and then use the king's emblem on the bartender. The silver coin basically is paying him off to help me out. So now he'll look at the emblem and say, take it and talk to somebody else. After you take a drink from the bartender, you receive, from the barmaid, you receive the tavern note. And that's basically telling the man in the curio shop, which is back out to the left, to take a note to take a gander at the king's emblem. So I'll open this door into the curio shop and move inside. I will use the tavern note on the curio man. He says, I can't help you unless you get my gold dagger from the man-at-arms. Back out, head right twice to the corner lot. Door on the left is to the blacksmith, but it's locked. Door on the right is to the arms dealer. So let's open that door and move into the armory or weapon seller. See, he's got the curio man's gold dagger, so let's speak to him. He says, that guy's an idiot. I'm not doing you any favors, but go tell the barmaid that I'm kind of got the hots for her. So head back to the inn, speak to the barmaid. She says, I fancy him too, but I need you to go get a blessing from the monk. So let's back out to the town square, move down to the right to the fountain, take that coin, move to the right to the courtyard. To the left is the entrance to the castle, to the right is where the monk is in front of the church. Speak to the monk. He says, I can't give a blessing without my token, but the soldier at the castle has my token. Or I don't think it's a token, I forget what he calls it. So now we need to move over towards the castle, find the soldier, speak to him, and say, how do we get the charm that the monk wants? And he says, well, I'll give you my charm if you get my medal back from some scoundrel who took it from me. And that scoundrel is in the inn, or the tavern. So let's head back to the tavern and head to the left room in the tavern. Here's the scoundrel. He plays a card game, and he won the the medal from the soldier. We need to use that silver coin on him, and that's going to start a game. This is a game of high and low. It's RNG. The way it works is the next card, 1 through king, where 1 is an ace but is low, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King is the order of cards. Is the next card going to be higher or lower? All you can do here is play your percentages. 7 or under, it's probably going to be higher. 8 or higher, it's probably going to be lower, but it's complete RNG. If you fail, you have to speak to the man and start all over, and you have to do this as many tries as it takes you to win. So I'm not going to talk, I'm going to play it, and ultimately if I fail multiple times, I'll probably just edit that all out for brevity. Alright, and when you win the game, you unlock an achievement, an unmissable progression achievement for winning the card game, and you receive the War Medal. So what you can do from here is move back to the castle and use the War Medal on the soldier. He'll take his War Medal happily and give you the charm. Now you need to go back to the monk and use the charm on him, and he will bless it. Take the blessed charm back to the barmaid. She gives you the hairpin and says, now take this to the man-at-arms and show him my hairpin. You give that to him to prove her love. He's so happy he gives you the dagger. Now we will take the gold dagger back to the man at the curio shop. If I can go the right direction. And I'm going to use the dagger on him, which kind of to me means I'm going to stab him with the dagger, but that's not the case. We're really just giving it to him through the use command. And he gives you the curio note, basically confirming that the king's seal was legitimate. So we need to take the curio note to the bartender. He will give you the secret word and the key to the blacksmith shop and instruct you to go speak to the blacksmith. So we'll back out, move right, use the smithy key on this door on the left, open it up, and go inside. Inside, we speak to the blacksmith, and he says, blah, 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 exit out the back door. So move through the door. Timed event. We need to use the latch on the trap door to open it. Open that trap door. And before I go down, I'm actually going to move out the window to unlock an achievement for falling to my death. Probably should have done that before I played with the latch and door, but whatever. So again in the room, let's use the latch, open the door, and head down. We are in a secret tunnel below the blacksmith shop. I'm going to take this thing on the ground. It is the map. So let's take a look. The map option is now over here under this, above my little mini map. And if I click on it, it opens up what I have of the map of the world. And we can see my total map progress is 14%. We need to get that to 100% for an achievement. There are some rooms or areas in the game that are completely missable. I will point those all out as we progress. You can see I have 85% in the village. Every area has a map of an individual map of that area, and you can see progress on that area. We will eventually get a second, then third and fourth piece of the map as we progress. So with that done, let's move out of the secret tunnel to the forest edge. If we move to the left here, we'll go into the forest and we'll be killed by invading forces who are waiting to invade the castle. Again, story related, you can kind of explore that if you're interested. We'll move up to the right. We need to die here to these spikes. The answer to opening this little puzzle to open the door is on your map. You can see you need to click on these 4 pieces before you click on the middle piece. I'm just going to click on the middle piece or use the middle piece to die to the spikes to unlock an achievement. So let's go back to that room and try again. Let me look at my map. It is these 2 and those 2. So I will use these 2 and those 2 to unlock the door. We can now get into the castle. We need to flip this switch in the secret alcove to open the door forward and move into the proper castle. Unlocks an achievement for entering Castle Gwynethel. From here you can move left to get back to where you were. Straight ahead to a room that's a dead end. We'll be in there eventually. Instead we're going to move right. We can ignore all this stuff and move down. Flip the switch by using it to unlock the front door of the castle. Just to show you, that's where the guard was that we got the medal from earlier in the village. Back inside, we're going to head to the right. I'm going to use this little blocker on the door and then open that door. That's the door down to the dungeon area. We don't need to go there yet, but the door is open. We can go there later. I'm going to move up the stairs, follow the stairs up to the top, and open the door on the right. We need to move into that room to get into the livery. I'm going to take the blue uniform and the book on the shelf. Then I'm going to open them. Opening the blue uniform gives me the gold coin. Opening the cookbook gives me the cook's key. Let's leave this room and move straight ahead. There'll be a brief scene with a bad guy. There's a door on the left and right. I'll open them both and move into the room on the left first. In this room, we need to use the map on the wall to reveal a key that we'll take. These two items are not necessary for progression, but give you hints and information. We can move into the room on the right and use that iron key on the bed to unlock a secret area. Take that book and then open it. This book is going to provide me with the evidence I need to show the prince of what's going on. From here, let's move downstairs. And at the very bottom, use the cook's key on the door and with the kitchen utensils on it. Open that door and move into the kitchen. We need a few items in the kitchen. We need the steel tray, or the silver tray, I'm sorry, the spoon, and the invoice. The bread and the cheese are unnecessary. We'll just clog up your inventory. We need to actually head back into the village right now. So backtrack out of the castle. And we need to go to the curio shop and give the gold coin to the curio man, and he will give you his gold dagger. We also need to give the invoice to the bartender to receive the king's wine. So I will use invoice on bartender and receive king's wine. Let's head back to the castle. In the castle, we're going to head again to the right and then up the stairs. I'm sorry, before we do, let's go into the kitchen and use the gold dagger on the sack of flour. And then take the empty sack. That's an item that's going to clog our inventory until the very end, but we have it and we'll just hold on to it until later. Upstairs, there's a noticeable stone on the wall. Let's use the spoon on that stone. There is a scroll inside. Let's take it. And let's look at that secret scroll. We're going to learn our first magic spell, Targwynthal. That spell, you cast it on mirrors to reveal secrets. So let's head upstairs. Let's go to the left this time. And let's show this guard, or use by using the king's wine on the guard. And he will get out of the way and let you go into the king's room after you open the door to leave the king his wine. In this room, you need to take the lantern. Then you need to open the little nightstand and take the item inside it. It's going to trigger a timed event. This mandragora is a trap for the king, I believe, or the prince, actually. Well, either way, we're going to use this mandragora on the fire quickly. It's going to burn down this tapestry and reveal a suit of armor. We can interact with this armor's hands and with his head, and we need to have his right hand on the left and his head look at the sun. So I will use the left gauntlet pointed at the sun. I will use the head twice. That opens a secret chamber. We'll move into that chamber. We need to use the painting on the wall on the right to knock it down. Use it again to flip it around. Then use the dagger, gold dagger, on the back of the painting to reveal a key. Take that key and then use it on the door on the left. Before we leave out this door, we need to use the painting in the middle to reveal a secret room, a peephole into a secret room. Now, there's some bad stuff going on in that room. Little backstory. That's the last room in the castle we'll get to. Eventually, we'll be stuck at like 95 or 96% for a long time. We can reach that room at the very end of the game. In the meantime, now with all that done, we can open the door and move into the next room. Now, we need to use the lantern on the hook to light the way. Go ahead and head down the stairs. We are in an antechamber, and here's a mirror. Let's use that magic, or that spell, I'm sorry, on the mirror. That reveals the royal seal. Take the royal seal and then use the button under the royal seal to unlock the door. Open that door and move into the next room, which is the throne room. And here is the prince sitting on the throne. He's not really sure what's going on with his king, with the bad guys. They're trying to deceive him. Let's approach him and then use the royal seal on him to show it to him. And he says, what do you know of the king? So you use him, you want to now use the evidence on him to explain prove what's actually going on, the bad things that are happening. And he says, take me to the king. So we will backtrack and then head to the right. And then we opened this door earlier. If you didn't open it, you would need to use the little wooden blocker before you can open it. And we'll head down into the dungeon. The Minotaur we knocked out with a sling is there, but the prince and his men kill him. We need to use the jailer keys on the king's room to open that room, and then move in there and speak to the king. And this basically rescues the king, unlocks an achievement, brings you back to the throne room where he gives you a treasury key and says you can go up in the treasury, but take only your reward, take nothing else. And your reward is like a purple sack in the treasury. So the treasury is upstairs to the left of the king's room. So go there, use the treasury key on the locked door, open the door, and head inside. If you were to use anything else, take anything else in here, you would be killed, but you can take this fancy pouch and then open it to receive 3 gems: emerald, sapphire, and pearl. We're now done here, so let's exit. And we want to actually exit the castle. Now, the only place we haven't been in the castle is over here. And you can see I'm at 96%, and we eventually can get to that last room from somewhere else, and that's the final room of the castle. This door is locked. It leads us to the tower. So let's backtrack out of here, downstairs. We're going to go all the way to the left, back out the secret door we came in, and we can now go through the fork into the forest without getting killed. Rescuing the king has ended the invasion or whatever, so we're able to enter this area. Here we see there was another one back in the village near the castle, but this is the fast travel stone. You need to learn a spell to do that. That's much later in the game. There's several of these throughout the world. We want to go forward at the fork, and the guard will tell you, I can't let you past unless you find out what happened to my 2 guardsmen. So before we do that, let's open this door and go into the guardhouse, take the lantern and the heavy coat, and backtrack 2 screens. Head to the left and into the mine. Take the bird cage in the first room, move to the second room in the mine. It's dark. Need to use the lantern on the hook up top. That will illuminate this room. There are 2 paths. Let's take the left path. Here is the first dead guard. He was killed by some creatures in this, wolves, I believe, in this cave. Taking the tower key and his dog tag is allowed. Any other actions in here, they attack you and kill you. So then we'll backtrack, take the right path. There's a sledgehammer. Let's take it. Move up the rope, out of the cave, and here's the other dead guard. Take this flag or standard and his dog tag. Now we need to backtrack to the other captain of the guards and show him the dog tags. But before we leave this room, we want to use the sledgehammer on those purple rocks. Now you've got some heavy rocks, and we're going to use those rocks on the bird cage to create a heavy cage. Also have to take the lantern before we leave here. We need to use that later. Back out of here, to the right and up to the captain, and then use those 2 dog tags. I guess they're called signaculums on the captain, and he'll kind of say, oh, this happened to this guy, he was whatever. Use the other one on him. He will say, oh, this happened to him, whatever. Now he says you can go forward into the magic forest, but we're not ready to go there because you need a special item to let you navigate through. It's like The Legend of Zelda's Lost Woods. So what we're going to do is backtrack to the castle. We have a tower key. We can now go into the tower. So head from Forest Edge through the hidden entry, through the secret alcove, into the vestibule, and head to the right and up the stairs. When you get to the upper hall, head to the lower right, tower access, and use the tower key on this door. Open it, and we're going to move into a new area called the tower. There's two ways you can move here, up the stairs or through the door. I'm going to open the door, but we're not ready to go in there. And before we go up the stairs, you want to hit the vase. Scroll appears. Take that scroll. You don't even have to look at it. You automatically learn your second spell, Herbicidia. This can kill plant life when needed. So let's move up the tower. Lock door. We'll get the key to that late in the game. We'll be back. All the way up at the top, open the upper tower door and move into the magic study. Now you need to look through the telescope. And that's going to show you the Lost Woods, and the Wisp gets excited and kind of tells you that the Wisps can guide you through the Lost Woods. So what we need to do is, before we do anything else in here, let's go ahead and get a death achievement by opening the book. Fire elemental appears and kills you. That's one way to die by fire. Before we can actually use that book, it's got a big open green orifice. So we're going to put the emeralds in that orifice that we received from the king. That will make the book safe, disarm it, and let us take it. We actually need to now use the candle holder on the right. Reveals an opening where we can take a lens. Can open this door on the right, but we're not ready to go out there yet. We need to go downstairs. So let's go down to the bottom of the tower and through that door we had opened at the base. Through the tower landing door into the library. Now that sorcery book is the key to the locked door. We'll put it in this open slot here, open a door, move into there, and there's 3 items we can take in the bookcase. We're going to take the clay griffin, the gold vessel, and the Tempe's bag. Now let's go back up to the top of the tower and out onto the, I want to say turret, but that's not what it's called. Out onto the turret, it is what it's called. Here you see a dragon. He wants some treats, and that's what Tempe's are. So use the Tempe's bag on him. That makes him happy, but he's still chained up here, so let's use the chain here to unlock him, and he flies away. That should unlock an achievement, I think, right? Yep, for befriending the dragon. Take this item he was sitting on, that's Dragon Tears. Go ahead and use that on yourself to learn a magic spell. Magic spell we'll use one time much later in the game. So now we have everything we need to get through the Lost Woods, the magic forest. So let's backtrack out of the tower. And we need to head back downstairs and out into the village. We need to go back to the church where the monk was. And it's right here. And that's our last area in the village we haven't been into, is the inside of the temple, not the church. This is Jair. He is the character, the protagonist from the original Shadowgate, the character you actually control as you play through that game. He has backstory and different stuff in this game, but basically he tells you somebody is impersonating me. If you see them, don't trust them, and if you please find my armor and bring it back. Other than that, what we want to do here is we want to use the lens on this altar, and then we want to use the gold vessel in this statue's left hand, which is the hand on the right. Then we want to speak to the statue, and that will get the statue to enchant the lens and make it a magic lens. So take that magic lens. The magic lens is our key for getting through the magic woods, or the magic forest. So let's head back through the castle and out to the forest. So here's the trick once we're in the magic forest. You just need to use the lens on the magic forest, and a wisp will appear. Green wisp, you do what they say. Red wisp, you do the opposite. So green wisp tells us to go left, we'll move left. Now I'll use the lens again. Red wisp tells us to go right, do the opposite, and go left. Use the lens one last time. Green wisp tells us to go straight ahead, we'll go straight ahead. We are now through the magic forest, and if we need to backtrack or go forward there, we just go right through it, no more playing with the magic lens. Approach the covered bridge, but before we go through it, take the path on the right and use the heavy cage on that hook. That's going to disarm a trap that would have killed us had we tried to go through the bridge otherwise. So go through the bridge, and the next screen when you try to move, you are ambushed by a Harpy. You need to use the standard on her. That'll impale her. I forgot to do something. We need to backtrack to the village, and we need to buy a weapon from the man-at-arms. And I apologize. So, backtrack into the castle and out into the village. I got a little bit ahead of myself, and for that I do apologize. So we need 2 items from the arms dealer, but we first need to visit the curio shop. We need to give the curio man use the clay griffin on the curio man, and he will give you 20 pieces of silver. Then we go back to the weapons man, the man-at-arms, use the emerald or the sapphire on him to buy the crossbow. They use the silver, 20 silver coins on him to buy the quiver. And we need to use the quiver on the crossbow to load it. Have to have this quiver to kill the Harpy, or this crossbow, and to do several other things throughout the game. Every time you want to use the crossbow, you will have to load it the way I did by clicking the quiver onto the crossbow, or using the quiver on the crossbow. So hopefully when we get back to the Harpy, she's still impaled. As I had said, we won't need to actually go through here with the magic lens. Let's cross the bridge. There's the Harpy. She's still impaled, so now we can use the loaded crossbow on her to kill her. And then take that pole. That's important. We need that for later. Let's move ahead here, and we encounter a tree ant. He is weak to fire, so we will use the lantern on him to destroy him. I did something wrong there and died. Oh, I tried to move. I'm sorry. I must have not been careful there. Use the lantern on the tree ant. He catches fire and burns, so he's gone. Moving ahead, if we try to continue across, we encounter a manticore. Timed event, he will kill you with his gaze. We need to redirect his gaze with the silver tray, so use the silver tray on him. He is now stunned. We need to kill him. Killing him is going to take 2 crossbow shots, so use the bolt quiver on the crossbow, use the loaded crossbow on the manticore, and do that twice. Manticore is dead. We can now progress. Head to the right. Here's a boat pilot, or a boat captain. His boat is stuck under all of these vines. So we need to use the Herbicidia spell on the boat. That will make the vines recede. Back up one screen and talk to the captain. He will invite you onto his boat to set sail. Move onto the boat. Once you board the boat, speak to him. Move one screen to the right, and the boat will start sailing. And a timed event will start. Now, this was confusing for me at first because I thought I was going to have to do something to survive a deadly encounter. Turns out this is just something that happens. It's almost like a cutscene, and the boat's going to crash, and there's nothing to do while this is happening. You just have to wait it out. The fog builds, the boat crashes, and then we can progress. Alright, the boat has crashed, and we're in a swamp. As soon as you appear in the swamp, this imp steals everything from you. You've obviously got your magic spells, but your inventory is now empty. So now what we need to do is find the imp, get our stuff back. So we'll move ahead through the swamp. There is an effigy in the tree, a straw effigy. We need to take that and move ahead once more across the plank path to the hilltop. This is the final area of the forest. We've got 100% here. Here you see a teleport stone or a fast travel stone for later. Moving forward, there is a path to the right towards like this desert and a path into this house. Let's go into the house. The imp says, you're not coming in here, but here's a stone. So take the occult stone and back up. And take the path towards the desert, barren wasteland. Move forward twice here across the crossroads. You'll find a human skeleton, one of the targets eventually that we need to use the magic spell on towards the achievement. Let's take his wheel. Let's move back and then left twice and use that hand wheel on the pipe on the left. A fire elemental appears. Use the straw effigy on him to capture him. Then you need to use the wheel to activate the device. And this is indicated by moving right. You'll see steam coming out of the pipes. Move 4 screens to the right to find sort of like a portal stone. Use the occult stone in the hole in the bottom to activate a portal. Let's go through the portal and into an area called Loch Ness. Now, we can only come to this area once. When we leave, we can never come back, and there are missable areas for your map in here. I'll point them all out. Just make sure you go everywhere and do everything I do as to not lock yourself out of the full map achievement. You want to use the pile of dirt at the base of the portal to reveal the opening for the stone we need to find to activate it. Move forward. You need to pick up 4 pieces of red shard, ruby shard. So there's the first one on the floor. Take it. Move out to the surface. There's a ruby shard in the tree. Take that. There's a achievement for looking at this Ferris wheel carnival in the background. Found the traveling circus. So make sure you look at that from this screen. Move down to the left. One of the ruby shards is on the ground on the left among the trees. A little disorienting here in the dead forest. It's actually, we moved down into the left, but I guess we've turned around and now we want to move forward to continue. You reach a road where you need to open the gate on the left so you can move through. Here we reach a mansion. The front door is locked. We need to open the mailbox to find a bulkhead key. Take that. Move to the bulkhead on the right. Take the 4th ruby shard from the right and then use the bulkhead key in the lock. Open the doors and head into the basement, I guess, of the mansion. Now here there's an ice wall. And what we need to do is we need to move to the right first. In this room you want to take the bone on the ground and then move up the stairs. Now when you try to open this door, an apparition appears. If you don't have all 4 ruby shards, you're just stuck, you have to backtrack. But with all 4 ruby shards, the apparition will be contained in a ruby that the shards magically form into. This is a cursed item. We need to backtrack 1 screen and get rid of it, otherwise it will eventually kill you. So use it on that big hole in the ground. It's gone. Back into the hallway, open the door at the end, and that's going to allow us into the mansion. Take the needle on the table, move down into the left into the next room. Take the vessel on the table, the ritual bowl, open the door in the back left, but move down into the games room. Use the blue chess piece to unlock the little cabinet in the back. Open it up. Take the hammer out. Now what we're doing here is we're looking for a food for the imp. That's what he said. Go find me something to eat, I think. And we're going to get a cookie for him in the kitchen. Move back into the dining room, move into the kitchen. Use the hammer on the cookie jar with the purple star on it and take that cookie. That's what the imp wants. Open the oven, take the piece of meat, and we have everything we need from the house. So let's backtrack. Up the cellar stairs, down the cellar stairs. Back to the ice wall, and this time go left. So in this altar, start by placing the ritual bowl on the indentation. Using the ritual bowl on the indentation, of course. Use the old bone in the ritual bowl. Use the burnt meat in the ritual bowl. And use the needle on yourself. You need some blood for the ritual. That creates a bloody needle that you can use on the ritual bowl. With all those ingredients, the wisp gets involved and helps create a wisp stone that will activate the portal to exit. So take that blue wisp stone. Now we can backtrack all the way to the portal. But before we do, we encounter a strange woman. We want to interact with her, speak to her. She will kill us, but that will unlock an achievement for getting killed by the ghost lady. So this time, just ignore her and move down. We're at the bulkhead. Let's move back to the front of the mansion. You'll notice the front door is open. This is your only opportunity to get into the foyer of the mansion for two things. One, for map progression towards the map achievement, but also to die to a specific death automatically, getting killed by the ghost mob. So if you don't interact with the ghost lady and go into the foyer to the ghost mob, you're going to mess up some of your potential achievement progress. As long as you've done all that, we can leave this area. So we'll move down. Car is coming. Quickly move to the right. And move down. Move into the hole under the bunker. Move down. If you haven't used the pile of dirt to reveal the hole, do that. And then use the wisp stone in the hole. Activates the portal. And let's move through it. Should unlock an achievement for escaping Loch Ness. We will never be able to go back to that area. We don't need to. We've done everything there. From here, we want to give the cookie to the imp. So let's move left 2 screens, down 2 screens, into the house, and then use the cookie in front of the door. The imp comes. He takes the cookie, but then he runs away. So let's open this door and move into the house. What we have to do here first is we'll go talk to the imp, and he says, you need to banish a spirit that is haunting my house before I'll give you all your stuff back. First thing to do, though, is open the door on the left, move into the scullery, and take the chalice on the left. On the way out, when we finish up in this area, we'll get a key to this door so we can get what's in there. So I'll take the chalice, then I'll move back into the hallway, open the door at the back, move through. The main hall, we need to get a death achievement here. Try to move into this hole. A tentacle appears and get killed by the tentacle for an achievement. Alright, so now the only thing we can do here is move up the stairs. Just move straight ahead to the end of the hall, but before you do, take your lens that luckily the imp dropped. We need that. And then when you get here, the imp says, there's an intruder, a spirit. Get rid of it for me or I'm not doing anything for you. So we'll backtrack 1 screen. You see this purple glow. Let's move to the left twice, and we'll get a timed event. There's the spirit. All we need to do is backtrack out of this room to avoid the spirit. We want to move back downstairs, and now you'll see the purple glow on the left. Let's move to the left. Spirit appears here. We have to get out, so just exit to the right. So now if we go back upstairs, we can go back into this room on the left and into this room on the left, and this is where the spirit chased us out, but now we can go through the fireplace into another room. A few things you want to do in here. I'm going to start by using the clasp on the wall. I'm going to open that door. I'm going to use the barrel on the right and take the second piece of the map. So you see we have the giant second piece of the map. This is a puzzle solution in the bottom. It's a time. Shorthand left, longhand down. I'm going to open the trap door, and I'm going to take the key to the basement. When you take that, the phantom comes after you. Let's go down the stairs, or through the hole in the ground to escape the spirit. We're in the library. There's a few things we want to do in this room. Let's start by using the switch on the wall to unlock the door. We can now open it. Take the skull. Take the ectoplasm. Take these books, which will actually just move them here, but it will reveal a flimsy wall that we can hit to reveal a moon icon. Now, let's move down. We're back in the main hallway. Move up the stairs. I forgot to grab this sun token off of the painting. So, back down to the main hall. We want to use the moon icon on this painting. Now we can get down to the cellar and use the basement key on the door. Open that door and move into the basement. From here, take the shovel, This door is locked. This door we can open, but it leads to a trapped room that we need to disarm. So just move down the end of the hall into the cesspool. You'll get a little scene here. Two things you want to do here. You want to use the chalice in the cesspool to get some sewage into the chalice. Chalice is now full. And then you want to take the bedroom key from the gargoyle's mouth. That makes the spirit appear. Simply backtrack to get away from him. Backtrack again. Go up the stairs. We are now done for now in the basement. So take the star icon back out of the painting to create the stairs so we can go back upstairs. We need to go into the bedroom. We have the bedroom key, so use it on this door on the right from the upstairs room. Open that door. Move into the bedroom. Alright, so two ways to proceed here. For now, it looks like there's no way. We need to use the Tar Gwynethal spell on the mirror. That allows us to now move through the mirror into the next room. Remember I said there was a solution on the map. Little hand to the left, little fat hand to the left, long skinny hand down. The way we adjust the clock is by using the little hanging chains. That's the little fat hand to the left, skinny long hand down. Use the handle, it pops open and reveals an item we can take. One of two red gems. If you have the wrong time, this skeleton comes out and kills you. We eventually need to use our spell that we'll learn later on this skeleton towards the achievement, the medium, I believe it's called achievement. Go ahead and use the clasp on the door and open the door. We can get out into the hallway. Or we could have backtracked through the mirror, but ultimately we wanted to get back to this room. And we want to use the bed. That reveals a scroll. Go ahead and take it. And then look at it. That teaches us Edux Spiritus. That spell will summon the spirit when we're ready to deal with it. We are not ready yet. Let's use the bed again to reveal a stairway, or a ladder. Go down the ladder back into the basement. And you need to use the magic lens on this mural. That changes the mural so you can interact with it. Opening on the head, let's use that purple skull on the head. That makes a lever appear. We can use that lever and that disarms that deadly room that I had mentioned earlier. We'll be there momentarily, but beforehand, go back to the right. You see a weak block here. Let's go ahead and hit it. Bats fly out, hit it again. There is the charm we need to kill the spirit. Again, here's a dead human. We'll be back later to use the spell on him once we learn it towards the medium achievement. So now, backtrack and open the door on the left. We'll be back in the familiar basement hallway. We came out of there just now. We cannot backtrack down because we don't have the stairs open from the main room. But we can open the door on the right now and move into the torture room. Had we not disarmed it, we would have been killed in here. Look at this block on the ground. It looks a little different. Let's use it to reveal an item. Take that item. It is the handle. Use the door to take the shield. Then use the door again to open it. We are done down here. So let's exit this area up to the bedroom. Now we need to go back to the library downstairs. I'm sorry, before we go here, go to this room on the left, the armor room, and use the shield on the suit of armor. It's going to reveal a little thing on the wall. We want to use the sun and moon items here to reveal the second red gem. Take that. Now we're ready to go into the library. Before we kill the spirit here, I can go ahead and use the charm there. Let's go into the laboratory. We need the potion that will kill the spirit once we summon it. To make the potion, put the ectoplasm in this contraption, put the chalice's contents in this contraption, put the handle on the opening, use that handle, and now we created the purifier, I believe it's called, so let's take it. That will kill the spirit. Now this is what we're going to do now is what's going to cause the fork that leads to the two different outcomes. One fork, which we're going to do, saves the imp. The shorter process results in the imp dying, and which of those two things happens determines whether you can get ending B or ending D, and we're going to get ending B by saving the imp. There's an achievement not only for each of those endings, but for saving the imp and for having the imp die. So on the second playthrough, there'll be 3 achievements we need. That fork's ending, letting the imp die, and another miscellaneous achievement at the end of that playthrough. So with that said, I'm going to open this door and go outside. There is a body out here, a corpse. We need to use that corpse to move it into the grave. Now, the way you save the imp is by putting salt on this corpse before you bury it. If you don't go through any of this process to get these gems, to get the salt, to put it on this corpse, the imp will die. But we're going to save him by using the red gem in each of the eye slots on this headstone. That reveals a bag of salt, which I will take. I will use the salt sack on the body. Then I will use the shovel on the pile of dirt. For whatever reason, this process to go through this salt burial results in the imp living. So now I can backtrack into the library, use the Edux Spiritus on the charm, use the purifier on the spirit. It dies. Now, if I move down, upstairs, go to the end of the hallway where the imp is, he's got the stairs down, head upstairs, there he is, he's happy. If I can speak to him, he says, "Thank you, my home is quiet, you can have all your stuff." So I can take my bag to get all of my stuff, including an imp charm. I can take a pantry key, and had he died, he would be dead here on the steps. So we are now done in the mansion. There's one room I haven't been to in the mansion, and there's a locked door in the scullery. So use the pantry key here, open that door, and then move into there. Now I can get the stone, the PI stone, that will activate the portal to get me out of here. 100% of the mansion's rooms are found, and we will backtrack. This door would have been locked. You were locked in this house, and you cannot leave until you kill the phantom and get the PI stone. So we rescued the imp, as opposed to the other achievement, which we can't get for having the imp die. So now let's head back to the barren wasteland. From the crossroads, head to the right twice, use the PI stone on the portal, and head through it. This is going to take us into Chicago, which this is part of, or an homage to, the Deja Vu game, whereas the mansion was an homage to the Uninvited game. We'll eventually get to Shadowgate Castle as it all ties together. So here we are in a modern setting in Chicago, and we actually need to find 3 random 2-digit numbers and then find out the order they're in as part of a safe combination. So it's not necessarily difficult to remember this, but it couldn't hurt to have something to jot this down. I'll start by looking at this baseball painting. Snake, there's 3 teams basically. Snakes or serpents, hounds or dogs, and gargoyles. And the snake number is 21, so I'm just going to write down S21. I'm going to move forward into the next room, and I'm going to read this newspaper on the right, and that's going to tell me the order of the numbers. So let me look at it. So it's hounds, serpents, gargoyles. So that serpents 21 is my middle number. My hounds or my dog number will be first, and then my gargoyle number will be last, to create a 6-digit code for this safe. It's different. The numbers and the order will be different for you, so make sure you pay attention to all of the numbers, the teams, and that book telling you the order. Open this door and move into the cellar. It's dark. You need to use the switch to turn on the light. Then you need to use the nozzle on the barrel to clean off this picture. Look at the picture to get the second code. Stone monster, so it's gargoyle. My gargoyle number is 73. Take the bat on the wine rack and exit this room. go up the stairs, use the bat on this man to knock him out. Fortunately, he manages to unlock the door, open the door, move into the next room. Take the coat and use it on yourself. Take the notepad on the desk, use the button on the back wall and open the door. But before moving through the door, look at this painting on the right to get the last part of the code. So that's the Hound's number is 21. So I've got my three 2-digit numbers, and I know the order they're in. So let's move to the next room. Use the painting or the picture on the wall to reveal a safe and move to the safe. So my combination, I need to hit the use option, is 212173. So put in your code based on the order given to you on the newspaper and the 3 different numbers scattered about on the paintings. Take the money and the stone, move back, open the window, or open the blinds, and move out onto the fire escape, and then move down to the alley. Open the door, or the manhole, and move down into the sewer. Take the wire cutters, and attempt to take the cat, and when you do, an alligator will come kill you for an achievement. That'll put you up in the alley, and you've got the wire cutters, so you won't need to go back into the sewer. Use the wire cutters on the fence. Move out into the street. Now, if you weren't wearing the coat, nothing would happen here, but since you're wearing the coat, there's a case of mistaken identity. You're kidnapped and dropped off in the middle of an icy lake. You need to move in several specific directions, and it's very easy to see. You can see the cracked ice, just move where there is no cracks. So in this case, I'm going to move up, right, down, left, up, right, up. And you use that notebook from the office room to create path notes. We'll have to use these notes again, these directional notes, to get through another area. From Lakeshore, move towards the museum. At the entrance, you want to speak to this character 4 or 5 times until you unlock an achievement for talking to Ace. Once that's done, move into the museum. Use that money on this admit 1 thing and take the ticket. When you try to move forward, the guard will stop you. Use the ticket on him. He moves out of the way, allowing you to move forward. There's a portal in the museum. Conveniently, use that portal key on the bottom. And now we can get back to the barren wasteland, unlocking an achievement for escaping Chicago. We won't be going back to Chicago either, but there's nothing really missable or necessary there like there was with the mansion. So now from here, let's move to the left twice. Move forward at the crossroads, and move forward from the desert grave to the endless expanse. This is much like the magic forest. You need to use your path notes to go the same directions you went on the icy... look at your path notes to move the same direction you went on the icy, frozen lake. For me, northeast, southwest, northeast, north. So I'll move north, east, south, west, north, east, north. Now you can refer to your note anytime in that process, or you can jot it down somewhere, whatever you have to do to get through that area. We will now arrive at the mountain base, which is the final area of the barren wasteland. There's a fast travel stone here as well. Let's move forward to find a cart of sorts. Let's open the back door and move into it. First thing you want to do is take this harness on the left, take this scroll, and now you need to look at these 3 words, Tach, Yith, Eos. And by looking at them in that order, you learn a spell. This is the fast travel spell that you use on those stones. So once you have that spell, you can back out of here. I guess you need to look at this book before, or open the book before whatever happens will happen. Once you've opened the book, now when you leave here, The cart falls down. So we can move forward here. And we can move forward here. And first we'll move left and take the grappling hook. Backtrack. And then move right. So I need to use the imp charm on myself. I forgot to do that. We had gotten the... Or maybe I just look at the imp charm. Yep, just look at the imp charm that I got when I got my stuff back from the imp. That gives me the Disgatea Mort spell. Now that's the spell that we need to use on all of the dead humans in order to see a brief flashback about how they died. Some of them give you an item, a soul that you need. There's 6 total souls, but there's like 10 or 12 total targets that you need to use this spell on throughout the game to unlock the associated achievement. One is here. You only get 1 shot at this guy, so if you try to move into the tent, he appears. So as soon as he appears, make sure you use Disgatea Mort spell on him. And this is what you will see when you use this on a target that it applies to. You'll get this little flashback, and the text is basically telling you about how he died. That one has no soul, which would have been in the little white circle to take, but there isn't one. So I'm going to cast it on him twice just to be safe, because you only get 1 shot at this guy, because after you speak to him, he disappears forever and you can get his pickaxe. So now we can backtrack and move up further. We need to use the pickaxe 3 times on the ice wall to create stepping points. Once we do that, we can move up the ice wall. Here, we need to use the harness. Before we do anything, you want to use the heavy coat on yourself so you don't freeze to death. Then use the harness on this rope contraption. Then use the harness. That'll let you get past this room to the next area. And this creature will appear. It wants the pearl, so use the pearl on it and it goes away. We will use the Polychromus spell here for the one and only time in the game to create a bridge. Head across, and here's our dragon friend. Once again, use the Tempe's bag on him. Then move onto him, and he will carry us to the next area. That unlocks an achievement. Flew the dragon to the Hidden Lands. So here we are at Gatekeeper Mountain, at a new part of it anyway, and we want to move to the right. We're not ready to go into this little hut yet. Here is the portal that requires all of those souls from dead enemies that you find by using the Disgatea Mort spell on them. So we need to backtrack throughout the game and use this on several enemies. So first we will use the fast travel spell on the fast travel stone. These are the different fast travel areas we have. The original castle, the forest, the mansion, the base of the mountain, and where we are now. So I'll start by going to the castle. Let's move into the castle, and we need to go down into the basements, into the dungeons of the castle. Backtrack all the way to cell block 1. Use the jailer key on the door on the left. Open the door. And move into the room. Use Disgatea Mort on this dead person. You'll get a little backstory from him. And here is one of the souls we need to power up that portal. So I'll take the soul. That is the betrayed soul. I'm going to use Disgatea Mort on him again. Again, this achievement wasn't working very well. I found myself having to backtrack and revisit and recast the spell on various targets, so that's why I'm going to hit everything twice with the spell as I progress now. Now we can leave the dungeon, and we need to go to the forest. I could have fast traveled here, but just ran here quickly. There's a fast travel stone here. I need to use the spell on all 3 of these dead humans. All 3 of these have a soul, so I will take their soul. I will use the spell on him a second time just to be safe. I will use, again, take the soul, double up the spell, and it might have something to do, the trigger for the achievement might be using the spell on all of the applicable targets and not receiving a soul from them, which would mean using it a second time on them. That may be the case, how it's programmed, I don't know. We're going to find out maybe here, since I'm doing it twice on each enemy, because, or on each character, because normally just doing it once on this guy and taking his soul, maybe that's not sufficient for the achievement. Maybe you need to do it without the soul being an option. So we'll use that Discidium one more time on this guy. Alright. We are now done here. So I'm going to backtrack. I'm going to fast travel. Tachytheos on the stone. We've got here and here done. I'm going to come to the house. There are several skeletons in the house we need to use the spell on. The first one is the dead body in the grave. It does not have a soul. I'm going to cast it again just to be safe. Now we can backtrack into the mansion, or into the house. Upstairs. Forward and into the main bedroom, and I'm going to use it on this hand under the bed. Here again, we see one that doesn't have one of the soul items, but I'm going to use it on him a second time just to be safe. Okay, one more in this area, down the steps, or down the ladder, and it's on this dead guy in the wall. He does have a soul. So I will take his soul, and I will use Discidium Mort on him a second time. Now I should have all 6 souls that I need now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which one am I forgetting? Let's think for a second. 1. Alright, so oh, I know which one. Right here. Durr. The dead guy at the desert grave. Brief panic moment, but we remembered. And there is the 6th soul that I need. And I believe we've now cast the spell on every enemy, or every target that we've encountered thus far in the game. So I will use Discidium Mort on him a second time, since now that there's no soul there, again, that might be the trigger. And now I am ready to use my 6 souls on that portal. So we will use the fast travel spell on the fast travel stone. And I will move to the right here, and this is the portal. So now I need to use each of those 6 souls one at a time on the portal. The gateway activates, and the Wisp has to get involved, and we'll unlock an achievement here for witnessing the Wisp making a sacrifice to create the portal. Move through. We'll appear at the spires. We are at the area called the Mines of Mythrock. First thing you want to do is backtrack, and then use the handle at the bottom of the cage to free Odin, the bird, and he is now your companion that can help you with hints, and there's an achievement for having him join you. So let's move back to the spires, to witness a story-related cutscene. Move forward. Odin says open sesame, literally, and the door opens. Into the mines we go. In the main hallway, as you progress through this area, these goofy spiders appear. You just hit them to get them out of the way. You want to take this green tablet and then move into the door on the right. Hit the wall where it's discolored. Take the key. Open the lockbox. Take this stone. Orb of Sight. Back to the main hallway. Move forward. Use that key on the door. open the door, move into the still corridor, move to the room on the left. Approach the altar in the back. Let's take the skull candle and the tablet. We don't need anything else here, so we can move back to the hallway. Hit the spider. Move forward. Move into the room on the right. Now, we need to first use the torch on the wall to create a walkway. Before we approach this altar, you want to use the orb of sight on the glyph on the back wall to activate sort of that mirror, and then approach it. The items we need are, you can see the reflection, but you can't see them. So take the key off of the book, take the tablet off of the table. We're done here. Backtrack out and into the hallway. Hit the spider, and move forward. We need to place those 3 tablets on the open, little open ledges, I guess. That's going to unlock the door in the back and create a path. But before we move forward, take the 4th tablet there and then head forward. Here you need to move into the room on the right and use that tablet in this machinery to get a little cutscene. And then you receive some information about what's going on. Back to the hallway, use key 2 on the door in the back. Open it up and head through. Move onto the minecart. Use the skull candle in this little contraption and then use the handle. Minecart starts moving. You're just going to have some talking with Odin as you progress along the mine shaft. You'll reach the mine station. Move into the area on the left. Push the button to activate this contraption. Get some information about the story. Take the talisman. Backtrack and move forward. The door will open. There's the portal. We've got 100% in the mines. Really nothing you can miss in this area, so take the portal. Escaping the mines unlocks an achievement. We're now ready to go to this little hut that I said we weren't ready to go to earlier, so open the door and enter. What you need to do in here is interact with the rolled up tapestry over the door by using it. Use the talisman in the opening on the wall, and then use the tapestry again to open the door. But before we leave, open the desk on the left and take the gold ring. Nothing else in here is important, so we can move out and approach this gatekeeper and speak to it. And that should unlock an achievement. For confronting the gatekeeper. Let's head forward, and the ancient castle appears in the Shadowgate area. This is literally the castle from the original Shadowgate game. We're going to only go through part of it, but it should be very familiar if you played the first game. Before we enter, let's take the mushroom and open the door. Move inside. Unlock the achievement for entering the final castle. From the antechamber, just move forward. You will die if you try to move forward here, so we will use the grappling hook up on the trellis in the ceiling. That allows us to now move forward into the next room. From here, you need to take this torch from the wall and then move left. This creature, use the mushroom on it. It falls off and drops a blue orb, or a blue gem. Take it. Backtrack 1 room, and then take the upwards exit. Here we will encounter a basilisk. Just like the manticore, you want to use a silver tray to redirect its gaze. That turns it to stone. How could we destroy it? Well, why don't we whack it with the pickaxe? So use the pickaxe on it. Make sure you grab its horn. That could come in handy later. Got to push this button to open this door. Can't reach this button. Let's load the crossbow by using the bolt quiver on the crossbow, and then use the loaded crossbow to push that button, unlocking the door. Go ahead and open the door. Move into the next room. Move ahead again. You'll find yourself in the waterfall area. We have kind of gotten twisted around to where now moving down is where we want to go. You want to use Discidia Mort on this human skeleton. And find out how he died. I'm going to do it twice. We want to move to the right. We don't need to pick up this scroll, but we need to come to this room for progression for map purposes. Backtrack and go left and into the room on the left. Take the white shards, open the door, move into the treasure room. You may remember if you played the original Shadowgate, a dragon would breathe fire at you here. Well, it turns out if we move straight ahead, the dragon is dead. We can take his key. In the original game, you were not able to unlock this chest, but this steel key from the dragon will unlock it if I use the right command. Inside the chest, if we open it, we get a note that tells us about, take the contents, and the note tells us about bottle 6 to be used on a stone enemy to kill it or something like that. So we'll save that for later. Backtrack out of this room, head straight. That we will die if we try to move forward, and this is sort of plant-like algae, so let's cast Herbicidia on it to get it out of our way. Why is it not working? Oh, you know what? I know what. You have to read the scroll that I said you didn't have to read in this area to learn about killing the algae. So, my bad. Let's go back to the algae. I was confused there for a minute. So make sure you take that scroll, which I told you not to bother taking. Now we can use Herbicidia on this thing. I told you I figured out all the solutions, but in trying to streamline everything, I guess I didn't realize that you need to pick up that scroll. So, anyway, let's move into the mirror hall. There's a death achievement here, so use the pole on the mirror/door on the right, get sucked out into deep space and unlock a death achievement. What we actually want to do is go into that room and use the Tar Gwynethil spell on that mirror. Then we can go through into the next room. Move forward again, take the scroll. Basically now we need to find 12 items. If we look at this Truth of 12 scroll, it tells us a hint about each of them, where it is. 1 is here, this is what it is, 2, 3, and so on. So I'll just skip through this because I know where all 12 are. And basically what we need to do is go to specific rooms in the castle and use the Edux Spiritus spell on the room. If there is one of the 12 items, it'll appear and you can take it. If there is not one of the 12 items, the spirit will appear and kill you. So you want to use the spell in the Mirror Hall. You want to use it in the Crypt. And take the Scepter. Backtrack to the stone hallway, go left to the cold room, use it here to get an orb. Go into the treasure room, use the spell to get a shield. Let's backtrack from the lake bank through the waterfall. In the damp stairs, we will use the spell to find a bottle of some sort. And we want to move forward. Nope, we want to move down from the damp stairs back into the pen. Move down from the arrow hall. Let's go ahead and use the spell. The arrow will appear on the back. Go left here into the undead chasm and use the spell. The bridge will appear. You can take that bridge. Let's backtrack twice into the alcove and use the spell. The book will appear. Take the book. Let's move down, use the spell in the antechamber, and the eyes will appear. That should be number 9. Let's move into the little closet, use the spell, 2 items will appear. Take the sword and the sling, 10 and 11. And then let's move out to the front door. Entrance, use the spell, and the key will appear. Once you pick this up, this is the 12th one. The scroll disappears with all of the basic information on it. Right? Yep, I've got all 12, and now let's go back to where we found that scroll telling us about the memory of 12. Once we're here, a portal opens. Let's move on to that portal. And move through the portal. We appear at this gazebo. And we can move down. Now, there is a scythe here you could pick up. We do not need it. The scythe is needed as part of the other fork towards the ending D, which we're not getting here, as part of the third achievement we'll get for the 3 remaining achievements when we do our second run. So you can just ignore that scythe here. From the courtyard, let's go ahead and move into the grand hallway. You want to use the torch on the hole in the wall on the left, and then use it to make an opening appear on the right. Moving into this room unlocks an achievement for entering the armory. Go ahead and use the tablecloth to make a lever appear. Use that to make a door open. We're not ready to go in there yet, though. So let's back out into the grand hallway and move to the left. Let's take the red shards, move through the opening, and take the poker. It's all we need here. Don't need any of this other junk, so backtrack to the hallway. Move forward. From the banquet hall, move forward. You use the poker on this left door to pry off the 3 pieces of wood and move outside. Here is the fake Jair, or Jair. So if you speak to him, he approaches you. He's not good, he's bad. So let's use the basilisk horn on him, turn him to stone and get him out of our face. We can now take his armor and the iron rod. And if we move to the left on the battlement, we can take this pot of gold. Let's go ahead and backtrack. And from here, we're actually going to have to backtrack all the way to the village. Fortunately, there is a fast travel stone here, so we will use Tachytheos on that. And here's the whole map. We're going back to the castle. So now we need to do a few things in town. Let's move into the temple. Show Jair's armor to Jair. He will give you a key to his room in the tower and ask you to put his armor in its case in the tower. But before we go there, we need to go to the blacksmith. We need to use the blue gem on him because we have red shards and white shards, and we need him to smash it to give us blue shards. So once he does, take the blue shards. Let's go ahead and go into the castle and head into the tower. Up the stairs, back and to the right, into the tower, to the left, up the stairs. Now we'll use Jair's key on this door, open the door, and head into Jair's room. There's a miscellaneous achievement here. We need to look at several items strewn around the room. So look at the horn, look at the glasses, look at the cloak, look at the helmet, the axe, the shield, the torch, the gauntlet, and the scrolls. Once you look at all those things, you'll unlock the memory lane achievement for examining everything in his room. Let's open this case in the back and place the armor in there. Now when we close the case, the whole thing will rise up, revealing the Staff of Ages. Can't take it though. Remember way long time ago we cut the flour sack open to take the empty sack. Let's use that on the staff and that'll allow us to take it. We're now done in the tower, in the castle, and we need to backtrack all the way back to Shadowgate towards the end of where we had been. Back out here to the fast travel stone. Go ahead and use the spell on the stone, Tachytheos. Fast travel to... Here we go. Now, 70% in this area, 94% of the map. So when we reveal the last of this area and that room in the castle that I said we'd get back to, we'll have 100% for map completion. So let's go ahead and move down, up, up. You know what? Almost forgot. Let's cast Discidium more on this guy. Go ahead and do it twice. And then there's one more target for this. And the achievement should unlock when I cast it on him, hopefully. Otherwise, we'd be forced to backtrack around to find out which one the game didn't realize I used the spell on. So we're going to go into the armory, which is the guard room, and go into this old chapel. Now, look, this looks like the statue that we blessed the lens on early on. I'm going to do something similar here. We're going to put the 3 shards in the hole. Red, white, blue. Now, initially, that statue was holding a staff. We actually need to put the iron rod on the hand on the left and the pot of gold on the hand on the right. Now, when we speak to it, it'll bless those shards and create a lavender gem. So go ahead and take that. Backtrack out of here. Move back into the hallway. Move forward. Move forward through the banquet hall. To the right from the small corridor. Now this should be the last dead human we would need to cast that spell on. So let's see what happens. Now I have cast it twice on every target and there's no achievement. So what I'm going to do quickly, and I'm not going to talk while I do this, but I'll maybe fast forward the video during the editing process. I'm going to go around and cast that spell on all the other targets to try to get the achievement to unlock. Okay, so there is the achievement, and you can see it's just kind of buggy, a small medium achievement. I had cast that very clearly on all of these things I recast it on, and only after backtracking and visiting the guys I had done it on initially did it finally pop after using the spell on this guy again in the grave. So anyway, let's get back to Castle Shadowgate and finish this playthrough up. Not much left to do. Alright, so here is kind of where I left off, assuming that I was going to unlock that achievement on this character, and I didn't. So now, with all of that done, let's move through the opening in the ground, this subterranean room, move through the den. This is the wishing well from the first game and a door that you were not unable to open. We'll go ahead and hit it though, and it'll open, and move through that door. Here, we encounter the stone gargoyle that we learned we need to use bottle number 8 on. Bottle number 6, I'm sorry. Kills him, breaks open the door, or the cell wall or whatever, and we can move through. When you reach the prison, the first thing you want to do is move through the door on the left. You'll get electrocuted and unlock the shock treatment achievement. So, the actual requirement in this room is to use the lavender gem in the opening on the right, and then move through that now open door to take the sunstone. Sunstone is required for ending B, which is the good ending. We can now take the lavender gem, use it on the opening on the left, and move through. Move across the stone bridge, move beyond the obelisk, into the reflection room. Use the gold key, the gold ring on this door to open it up. But before we progress, this is where we're going to be able to get the final room through the peephole in the castle by using Tar Gwynthal on the mirror. Now we can simply move into this mirror to get 100% in the castle. Nothing to do here but move back, move through, and This is the next to last room. So when I move to the left, I should get the map achievement. I'm going to make a manual save here so I can get the 3 different achievements. So I will move to the left. A little scene's going to play out here. I'm going to check my map. The achievement should unlock here momentarily. 100% on the map, and there is the charted achievement for exploring 100% of the map. Good job. So what we want to do here is take the Warlock Staff. And I'm actually going to back up 1 step and save again. Just going to reduce the steps I need to take. So there's 3 endings we can get. Ending A is a bad ending. Simply place the pole in the hole. That will start a process. Very quickly ends up with, I believe, maybe you dying. I'm not sure. If you want to take the time to read through all of this, you can. We'll get a little summation, and we unlocked the achievement for ending A and for finishing in under 2 hours. Now it shows 40 minutes. That's in-game time. I've probably been playing for an hour and a half at this point, so you can see you've got a lot of leeway in the speed run. That was ending A. So from the main screen, I will go ahead and continue. We'll do ending C and then ending B. So what I need to do here from the Great Cavern, move to summoning. Here I want to use the Staff of Ages on the opening. This will quickly get us an ending. That is ending C. Ending A and C are bad endings. Ending B is the good ending, and ending D is like the long bad ending. So once again, we'll get back to the main screen, and there's just another minor thing we need to do before we can actually get achievement ending B, which is, I guess, the good ending. So I will use the Sunstone on the Staff of Ages to create the Divine Staff. Then we'll use the Divine Staff in the hole. That's going to trigger a little ending sequence, and we're actually going to have to interact here. What's going to end up happening is this beast or wizard or whatever is going to be summoned, and you're going to pick up that Divine Staff. And you'll see your whole screen changes. You're holding the Divine Staff, and you just need to click on this dude for like a minute or 2. It's kind of annoying, to be honest. Just keep using the Divine Staff on him. He will fight back. You'll get some random text pop-ups. You get hit with some fireballs. I believe the next message is a Mike Tyson's Punch-Out reference. Eventually you'll be able to attack him twice as fast, which I can do now, and then once the interactability stops, the ending sequence will just play out on its own. And that's it. So now we've fulfilled the requirements for ending B. That achievement should unlock. And with all of that done, that's everything we can get done in one playthrough. So what I'm going to do is pop open the achievement screen and take a peek, take a little ganders here. Again, there's 40 achievements. We should have 37. Should be 3 question marks left. And there are. Ending D, which requires letting the imp die to go down that fork. This achievement is for letting the imp die, because here's for rescuing the imp. This achievement is for killing Lakmir. That's something you do towards the end of the ending D fork. Remember, we used the ring on that door, and then we used the spell on the mirrors on either side to be able to access that castle room. Lakmir will appear there. You use the scythe on him to kill him. That unlocks that achievement. So what I'm going to do now is go through and edited adequately to quickly play through a second playthrough and show you what actually needs to be done in order to have the imp die, in order to kill Lackthir, and to get ending D. So anyway, first playthrough's done, 37 out of 40 achievements, on to playthrough 2. Okay, so here we are at the door to the house after I've given the imp the cookie. This is the second playthrough, and I'm only going to show you the pertinent parts to getting the remaining 3 achievements. We're in Chapter 5. We are back at the house or the mansion after we go to the Loch Ness area to retrieve the cookie for the imp. The imp now will let us into the house, and in order to save the imp on the previous playthrough, I had to go through the process to get the salt and put it on the body outside. Not going to do any of that stuff, instead going to do the bare minimum that is required to kill the spirit for the imp. That's going to result in the imp dying and unlock that achievement and put us down the fork towards ending D, the only ending we still have to get. So we'll start by opening the door to the house and entering. In the entryway, we need to open the door on the left so we can go into the scullery and get the chalice. Grab that chalice, backtrack to the hallway, open the door at the end, move through, we'll move upstairs, and go talk to the imp who's, actually taking the magic lens on the way, and go talk to the imp where he tells you to kill that spirit. So, let's backtrack, go left, follow the purple light, we'll encounter the spirit, simply run away, then go downstairs, into the room on the left, encounter the spirit again, leave. Now we can go back upstairs and go through the fireplace. In the sitting room, once we're in here, use the barrel on the right to get the map. Use the latch on the door, open that trap door, and when you take the key on the animal's antlers, the spirit will appear, the phantom. Just go ahead and leave here. So now let's go into the basement by going through the opening in the ground. I'm not in the basement yet, I'm sorry, we're in the library. Go ahead and take the skull, take the ectoplasm, take the books to move them, hit the panel to get the moon icon, use the switch on the wall, open the door, but we're not going to go out there yet. We need to go down. Use the moon icon on the painting on the wall to open the way down towards the basement. Go into that new opening. Use the basement key on the door. Open it. And move into the basement area. We do not need the shovel, so move to the end. In the cesspool room, we will use the chalice in the fountain to fill it up with liquid. Then grab the bedroom key. Exit here. Backtrack upstairs. Take the moon icon. Let's go up to the bedroom. And use the bedroom key on the wall. Go ahead and open that door and move inside. Don't need to fuss with this mirror or this other room because that just gets us a red gem to get the salt. So we'll just use the bed twice. Take the scroll and look at it. Now we use the bed the second time to reveal the stairs or the ladder. Move on down the ladder. Use the magic lens on the mural. Then use the skull in the opening. This way we can disarm the torture room by using the gears and the handle. Head back to the right. We need to get the item from this skeleton. So hit the wall twice. And take the charm or whatever it is. That's so we can summon the spirit. Backtrack, open the door on the left. Move out into the hallway area. open the door on the right, move into here. We don't need the shield, but we do need the handle, so use that marked discolored square to open the handle, to open up the area where the handle is and take it. Back out into the hallway, through the door on the left, up the ladder, leave the bedroom, go downstairs, through the door on the left, or head on the left into the library, through the door into the laboratory, use the chalice on this contraption, use the ectoplasm on the contraption, use the handle on the hole, and then use the handle. You can now take the purifier. We don't even need to go outside to where that corpse is. Backtrack into the library, use the charm on the ground, use the Edux Spiritus spell to summon the spirit, use the purifier on it to kill it. Now let's go to talk to the imp. Move down, upstairs, straight ahead, onto the... And now here we see the imp is dead and we get the achievement, too little too late. We failed to save the imp. Doesn't matter. So now we can come up here. Previously the imp was alive and happy. He is not, so I'll take the bag of goods that he stole from us. I'll look at the imp charm to learn the Discitia Mort spell. I'll take the key to the pantry. And from here we're just going to continue as we did previously. Nothing is different. You could follow the earlier guide from this point forward. I'll put a timestamp in the description to after the imp is left to die, so you can get right to that point if you need to follow the guide. But from here we need to get back to the point at the very end of the game where we use the gold ring on the doorway at the very end of the final Shadowgate castle. So go ahead and play through the game in that capacity, and I will pick up this guide at or around that point to explain what needs to be done to get the remaining 2 achievements. Alright, so I have progressed basically to the end of the game. I'm at the end of the final Shadowgate castle. Where I'm standing right now is where you would appear after you go through the first part of the Shadowgate castle and use the Edux Spiritus spell in various rooms to make hidden items appear that you need to collect those 12 items based on the information in a scroll. Once you do that, this portal appears and you can get to this final area. And I've actually played through this area already, cleared out some of the puzzles, but there's a few things we need to do that I left undone at this point, so we can get to the ending D. You want to take the scythe that appears on the ground here. We need that to kill Lakmir, but one thing we have to do first is backtrack to town. Before I do that, actually, I just kind of want to walk into this area and show you. I've already placed the torch, opened the door to the armory, gone in here, opened the door to the chapel, used the various items and the shards to create the lavender gem. I've already encountered the fake Jair out here in this area and used the basilisk horn on him to kill him. Then I took Jair's armor and the rod and the pot of gold that were part of the lavender gem creation. Had to backtrack to town to have the blacksmith break up the blue gem into blue shards. I had to backtrack to the village into the chapel to show Jair his armor to get his key. I had to backtrack into the castle and up into the tower to go into Jair's room, place his armor in the chest or whatever it is, the display case, to get the Staff of Ages. If you have any questions about any of this procedure, you can see it from the original playthrough. With that all said, having gotten this far into the game, I've taken the scythe, but I actually do need to head back to the village. So I'm going to use Tactheos on the stone to use fast travel to get back to the castle, the very first fast travel stone. And I'm going to move back and into the village area, the town square, and I have to head into the curio shop. You can see it's got this evil-looking purple glow. When I come in here, all there is this item that I'm going to take. It's called a sensor. We have to have this item to complete the final 2 achievements. So now I'm going to backtrack to the fast travel stone and use it to get back to the final Shadowgate area. So now we are ready to finish this run, get Achievement D, and kill Lacthier for the final 2 achievements. Remember, you need the scythe off of this enemy, and let's continue through the castle, through these areas, and now we're at the point where you need to hit this door to break it open, and then move into the holding cell. Again, you need to use the Bottle 6, I believe it's called, on the gargoyle to destroy it and to break open the blocked, barred door behind him. We can now move into the prison and use the lavender gem on the hole on the right to open the door. Now when we move into here, we get a moonstone. On the other playthrough, it was a sunstone. Backing out, take the lavender gem, use it on the opening or the hole on the left to make that room accessible. Cross the stone bridge, beyond the obelisk into the reflection room. Now we see Lacthier in the reflection. So let's use Idux Spiritus to summon him to us. Here he is. Now let's use the scythe on him. That'll kill him and unlock an achievement. So killing him with the scythe causes a scene. Now we can take the sensor that is now changed into a soul prison. And there, now we have the achievement for striking down Lacthier. This soul prison we want to combine with the moonstone to create the void conduit. And now we need to use the gold ring on this door to open it up. We move into the Great Cavern, and we can move into the final room, the summoning area. Once this brief scene ends, I'm going to take the Warlock Staff, and just as a point of note, I did not explore the entire world, I did not reveal the entire map. That was done on the first playthrough. So let's take this Warlock Staff and use that Void Conduit on the Warlock Staff to create the Void Staff. Use the Void Staff in the hole, and this is going to be similar to Ending B. But instead of wielding the staff that we used in Ending B, we're going to end up wielding the Void Staff. And now you just need to click over and over and over again using the Void Staff on this being. And just like for Ending B, this is going to take a minute or two. Click, click, click. He will fight you. You will keep using the Void Staff on him. These various text dialogues will appear. Now we're going double time. He's almost dead, or defeated, I guess. And that is it. So now we'll wait for the scene to play out. And the achievement should unlock here shortly for reaching Ending D, which will be the final achievement we need. And the game should now be complete. Once we get back to the main menu, I will confirm. Obviously, you're free to pay attention to the ending sequence if you want to piece together the actual story. So there's Ending D. My playtime on that run was 23 minutes. And that should be it for Beyond Shadowgate. All 40 achievements unlocked. So yeah, again, currently this game is not available on consoles. I'm recording this in the middle of January 2025. I expect that it will eventually come to consoles, and I expect that the achievement list will be the same. So ideally, this guide will be sufficient to getting your achievement completion or trophy completion on Xbox or PlayStation. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed the guide. I thought this game was really great. Hope you had a good time with it, and I'll see you again.